Hello students. So we have been discussing chapter number 11, alcohol, phenol and ether. So that chapter is having two parts. First part is of alcohol and phenol and the second part is of ether. Okay. So today we are going to discuss about last part of alcohol and phenol, and that part is and that topic is commercially important alcohols. Commercially important alcohols. Okay. So we are going to discuss two important alcohols. One is methanol and second is ethanol. So today we are going to discuss about preparation, properties and uses of methanol and ethanol. So let us discuss about methanol first. Methanol molecular formula is CH3OH. Molecular formula of methanol is CH3OH. It is also known as wood spirit. Methanol is also known as wood spirit. Now the question is, why methanol is known as wood spirit? The answer is methanol was produced from destructive distillation of wood. Earlier, methanol used to be produced from wood by destructive distillation. That is why it is also known as wood spirit. But nowadays, methanol is produced from carbon monoxide. So preparation of methanol nowadays is done with use of carbon monoxide. So there is hydrogenation of carbon monoxide. Hydrogenation means addition of hydrogen. So hydrogen reacts with carbon monoxide, high pressure and high temperature. So the pressure range is 200 to 300 atmosphere. This process is carried out under high pressure and temperature is also high. Temperature range is 573 to 673 Kelvin. Okay. So pressure and temperature is high. It is done using catalyst zinc oxide and chromium oxide. KNO and CrO3. So methanol is produced from carbon monoxide by catalytic hydrogenation. Catalytic hydrogenation means addition of hydrogen in presence of catalyst, and catalyst is zinc oxide and chromium oxide. High pressure is required, high temperature is required, and it will form CH3OH, that is methanol. So this is methanol. Okay. Now, what are the properties of methanol? Methanol is colorless. So it is a colorless liquid, and the boiling point of methanol is 337. Boiling point is 337 Kelvin. Okay. Methanol is very poisonous. We cannot consume methanol. So if minute quantities of methanol is ingested by any human being, he may become blind. For example, if any person is consuming methanol, very minute amount, he may have chance to become blind. He may become blind. But if that person consumes more amount of methanol, then there is possibility that he may die. So death can also be occurred by consumption of more amount of methanol. Okay. Now, what are the uses of methanol? So methanol is a good solvent. Basically, it is used as a solvent in paint industry and in many varnishes and other things. So methanol is a good solvent. Okay. It is also useful for the production of formaldehyde. So formaldehyde can be produced by using methanol. So this is all about methanol. Now we'll discuss about ethanol. So our second compound is ethanol. So second compound is ethanol. Molecular formula of ethanol is C2H5OH, or we can write CH3CH2OH, right? Okay. Now, ethanol is produced from sugar by fermentation, and that sugar can be obtained from molasses, from sugarcane, or from fruits. Again, ethanol is produced from sugar. So sugar is the main resource for the production of ethanol. Now, sugar can be obtained from molasses, sugarcane, and fruits, right? Okay. In fruits, grapes are the main sources for sugar. So mainly, ethanol is produced from fruits like grapes by fermentation. So grapes are sources of sugar, as well as it is also a good source for yeast. Why do we require yeast? So basically, sugar, for example, sucrose, is present in fruits like grapes. Sucrose is converted into glucose plus fructose. Glucose plus fructose with the help of enzyme invertase. And that invertase enzyme is produced by yeast. So grapes are fermented. So grapes provide two things. It provides sugar as well as yeast for the enzyme. So sucrose, which is present in any of the sources, is converted into glucose and fructose. You know the formula, C6H12O6, C6H12O6, O6, okay? And the formula of sucrose is C12H22O11, which is hydrolyzed and it is producing glucose and fructose. Now this glucose is fermented, and with the help of enzyme zymase, it will be converted into ethanol. So 2C2H5OH plus CO2 is produced. 2CO2 is produced from glucose, and the glucose is C6H12O6. So these two reactions are very important for the production of ethanol. Sucrose is converted into glucose and fructose with the help of enzyme invertase. Now glucose is reduced, or glucose is converted into ethanol with the help of enzyme zymase. And here you can see that in this reaction carbon dioxide is produced. So the bubbles which you can see are of carbon dioxide. Okay. Now ethanol is produced from glucose, but if the amount of ethanol exceeds more than 14%, then the activity of these enzymes stop. So which means that more than 14% of ethanol cannot be produced by this method, by this fermentation, because more than 14% of ethanol can stop the activity of this enzyme. Okay. Now if this reaction is carried out, the production of ethanol is mainly carried out in anaerobic condition. Anaerobic condition is required. Anaerobic means in absence of air. So ethanol is produced in anaerobic condition. But if there is possibility, if there is air during fermentation, if aerobic respiration occurs, then ethanol is converted into ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid in presence of air. So in presence of air, ethanol is converted into ethanoic acid. So if some person drinks this kind of ethanol, which may not be very useful for the drinking purpose. Okay. Now, ethanol mainly affects our nervous system. The main effect of ethanol on our body is nervous system. It affects our brain. Okay. Now, ethanol is a colorless liquid. The properties of ethanol is colorless liquid. Methanol is also colorless. Ethanol is also colorless. And the boiling point of ethanol is 351 Kelvin. Boiling point of ethanol is 351 Kelvin. If someone wants to make ethanol unfit for the drinking purpose, they can add copper sulfate or pyridine. If copper sulfate and pyridine is added in ethanol, which is not suitable for drinking purpose, and that process is known as denaturation. Denaturation of ethanol. So denaturation is addition of copper sulfate or pyridine in ethanol, which is not suitable for drinking purpose, and that particular process is known as denaturation. Uses of ethanol is it is mainly useful in some industries as a solvent. So it is basically a solvent for production of many compounds, and many compounds, carbon containing compounds, carbon compounds are produced using ethanol. Okay. Now, nowadays ethanol is obtained from ethene by hydration reaction. So nowadays ethanol is obtained from ethene by hydration reaction. Okay. So that's it. We have studied about methanol and ethanol. Okay. Hello students. So we have been discussing chapter number 11, right? And chapter number 11 includes total 3 parts. One is alcohol, second is phenol, and third one is ether. We are done with alcohol and phenol. So today we are going to start last part of this chapter, that is ether. Now what is ether? So ether is two alkyl or two aryl or alkyl and aryl group associated with oxygen, right? So this is an ether. Now ether are of two types. Ether are of two types. It can be simple ether, or we can say symmetrical ether. Symmetrical ether can be mixed or unsymmetrical. Okay. So basically ethers are of two types, simple or symmetrical. Second one is mixed or unsymmetrical. Now what is the difference between these two? Simple or symmetrical ethers are those ethers which are having same type of alkyl or aryl group to associate with oxygen. So this is symmetrical ether. If two alkyl groups are different, let's say this is methyl and this is ethyl. If two alkyl groups are different, then that is unsymmetrical or a mixed ether. In short, same alkyl group around oxygen, simple or symmetrical ether. Different alkyl groups around oxygen, unsymmetrical or mixed ether. Okay. Now, today we are going to discuss preparation of ether. So our main topic of today is preparation of ether. Okay. So preparation So ethers are produced by two main reactions or two main chemical reactions. First is by dehydration. Okay. So in this type of reactions, whenever there is dehydration reaction, concentrated H2SO4 or H3PO4 or we can say protic acid comes in your mind. I have already discussed this type of chemical reactions. For any dehydration reaction, we require concentrated acid. So here, presence of H2SO4 or H3PO4 is there. I mean, we need H2SO4 and H3PO4 for dehydration reaction. Now, CH3CH2OH. This is an alcohol. If H2SO4 reacts with alcohol, there are two possibilities. We already know that H2SO4 leads to dehydration, so there will be removal of water. But there are two possibilities. One possibility is there, alkene can be formed, and second possibility is ether can be formed. So H2SO4 reacts with alcohol and it can form alkene as well as ether. Now the question is, which reaction conditions are favorable for the formation of ether? So reaction condition is, when you provide higher temperature, alkene is most probably to be formed. When you provide low temperature, ether is most likely to be formed. Okay. So if alcohol reacts with H2SO4, temperature is higher, let's say 443 Kelvin, then there is dehydration reaction. OH from this carbon, H from this carbon, it will form CH2, CH1 CH2 plus H2O. H2 is released, OH from this carbon and H plus from this carbon, it will form H2O and alkene is formed. But if we provide low temperature, let's say 413 Kelvin temperature, then our main product would be ether. So ether, CH3CH2 CH2CH3, ether is going to be formed. But in that case, you require 2 moles of alcohol and H2O is released. But basically, we can say that if higher temperature is there, then it is possible that alkene can be formed, or at higher temperature, alkene is most likely to be formed, and at a lower temperature, ether is most likely to be formed from alcohol. Okay. Now, this reaction is leading to formation of symmetrical ether. So see, this is symmetrical ether, and for the formation of unsymmetrical ether, this method is not suitable. First thing. Second thing, for formation of ether, lower temperature is required. Third thing, if you want to form secondary or tertiary ether, this method is not favorable. This method is favorable for the formation of primary ether. Okay. Now, we have seen that alcohol reacts with acid at low temperature and it forms ether. So let us see mechanism how ether is formed from alcohol. So we will discuss mechanism. Okay. So first step, there is protonation of alcohol. So we have what alcohol, let's say ethanol. So this is ethanol. Okay. Protonation, because alcohol reacts with acid, so acid will provide proton. So protonation of alcohol, proton is added. So proton is added to alcohol and it will form product like this, CH3CH2, H and H. Proton is added at alcohol. Now, you also know that because this electron is involved in bond formation to proton, That is why I have written plus charge over oxygen. Okay. So first step is proton is added to alcohol. Second step is we have got second molecule of ethanol, CH3CH2OH. Now this ethanol attacks on protonated alcohol. So we have got protonated alcohol here. So this ethanol will attack on this alcohol, and because this oxygen is having positive charge, that is unstable, it requires electron, so it will gain electron. So this bond is broken and H2O is released. So H2O is released and we will get product like this, CH3 CH2 OH CH2 CH3. So this is our product after second step. Okay. Alcohol will attack from this oxygen because oxygen is having lone pair of electron. Now, in third step, this proton is going to be released because this lone pair of electron will make this bond unstable and this bond is broken. So H plus is released after this step. So it will form CH3 or CH2 CH3, right? And H plus is released. So that H plus that is coming in first step is released at the end of third step. So H plus is released and we will get ether. Okay. So we are getting at ether at the third step. So this is mechanism for the preparation of ether. Now we'll discuss second preparation of ether, that is Williams synthesis. Williamson synthesis. Based on name of the scientist Williamson, the preparation of ether is known as Williamson synthesis. Okay. Now, this method is favorable for the formation of primary ether, it is favorable for the secondary ether, and it is also favorable for the formation of unsymmetrical ether. Please remember this. In this method, alkyl halide is there. So this is alkyl halide. Alkyl halide reacts with sodium alkoxide. So this is sodium alkoxide and this is alkyl halide. This halogen from alkyl halide and this sodium, it will form sodium halide. Now what is left? Alkyl group from alkyl halide and alkoxide is left, so it will form ether. So this is ether. Okay. Again, this method is favorable for the formation of symmetrical ether, for the formation of unsymmetrical ether, and it is also used for the formation of secondary or tertiary ether. So let us see how tertiary ether is formed. So we have got tertiary alkoxide. So this is tertiary alkoxide. Okay. It reacts with primary alkyl halide. Let's say we have got CH3Br, methyl bromide. Then this sodium from alkoxide and this Br from alkyl halide, it will form NaBr. So NaBr is formed. Now what is left? Tertiary alkoxide is left. It will react with alkyl group, that is methyl. So it will form CH3O, CH3, CH3, CH3. Okay. So this is how tertiary ether is formed. Now, instead of primary alkyl halide, if we take secondary or tertiary alkyl halide, this reaction is not possible. I am saying it again. Here we have taken primary alkyl halide, but we cannot take secondary or tertiary alkyl halide here But if we take secondary or tertiary alkyl halide here, it will lead to formation of alkene. So if we take secondary or tertiary alkyl halide instead of primary halide, it is more likely that secondary or tertiary alkene can be formed. In short, alkene can be formed. Okay. Now let us see this reaction. So we are taking tertiary alkyl halide. So this is tertiary alkyl halide. It reacts with sodium methoxide. Okay. Now, if we take secondary or tertiary alkyl halide, it is more likely that alkene is formed. So Na and Br will form NaBr. So one product is NaBr. Hydrogen from this carbon, either from this carbon or from this carbon, hydrogen is released and it will react with methoxide and it will form CS3OH. So methanol is formed. Now what is left? Br is released, hydrogen is released. What is left? CS3, C double bond CS2, CS3. So alkene is formed. So if secondary or tertiary alkyl halide is used, then there are more chances of alkene to be formed. Okay. Now let's see how aryl ether is formed. Okay. Let's see how aryl ether is formed. So we have got phenol. This is phenol. Phenol reacts with NaOH, and we already know that H plus from phenol, OH minus from base, it will form H2O. What is left? Sodium phenoxide is formed. ONA. Sodium phenoxide is formed. This sodium phenoxide will react with any alkyl halide. Let's say it reacts with methyl bromide. Then sodium from this and Br from this, it will form NaBr. What is left? Phenoxide is left and here methyl group is left. So this is ether, right? So phenol reacts with NaOH, it will form sodium phenoxide. Sodium phenoxide can react with alkyl halide and it will form alkyl aryl ether. So this is how ethers are formed. Okay.